Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Tips to Top the Unofficial Bar. Today with me, a very senior legal professional in this country, Mr. Ikram Mohamed, President Counsel, and he was also the President of Sri Lanka Bar Association during the year of 2004 and 2005, and he is going to share with us tips to top the unofficial bar. So thank you for your time for the interview. May I first know the beginning of your professional career, sir? Which year you came to the profession and your experience as a student?
I was a student of law in the University of Ceylon, Colombo, where I got my degree with honors in the year 1973.
73.
And I started my lecturing in the university immediately as a assistant lecturer in law. And then in 1974, and I had the privilege of sitting for the last advocacy examination conducted by the Sri Lanka Law College, where I also obtained another class there. And then I took my oaths in the year 1974, June, and I had the privilege of apprenticing under one of the finest lawyers I have ever seen, Mr. B.J. Fernando, late Mr. B.J. Fernando, President's Counsel, who was my guru and who was more than a guru, who promoted me in every sense. And even Mr. Romeshti Silva was Mr. B.J. Fernando's junior, and he has taught us how to conduct ourselves as a lawyer, not only in court, even outside court. So that experience was tremendous. I had that privilege, and I also had the privilege of being somewhere during my internship under one of the finest criminal lawyers Sri Lanka has ever produced, Mr. A.C.D. Soisa, who is commonly known as Bandi Soisa, was also a President's Counsel. Another lovely gentleman to work with, who always cared for the juniors. And then whilst apprenticing with them, I was continuing with my lectures in the university. And when I took course, I couldn't be in the university as a permanent lecturer. I resigned from the university and I was asked to continue as a visiting lecturer by Professor Nataraja, which I did for 16 long years since then, whilst practicing. And that gave me a wonderful experience, both academically as well as in practice. And that was, as a junior, it was difficult.
What were the subjects you taught in the university?
University, I have taught legal system, jurisprudence, delict, law of persons, law of property, and perhaps almost all the subjects. And I am proud that I was one of the pioneers to start, one of the pioneer lecturers when we started the Sinhala medium.
So now, it was clear now when you come to the profession, of course there were two different division, but you have selected to be advocate.
Yes.
Is it because your father was a lawyer? I mean, how did you get that idea that I will be a counsel rather than instructing at it?
My father was a fairly known but more very respected proctor in Negombo. It was Proctor Mohammed, and it was my intention from the beginning to become a lawyer, having seen my father and having seen other lawyers in Negombo who were very, very respected in society. And when I did my attorneys and advocates, I decided I must be a counsel. And I thought, I have seen leading counsel and who were very, very famous during that time. And their reputation was such that I thought I must also try to be one of such people. And I decided, but then I had a problem in deciding whether I must do criminal law with Mr. Bandi Soisa or whether I must do civil law with Mr. B.J. Fernando. So I sought Mr. B.J. Fernando's opinion. Then he said, Ikram, one advice I can give you is, you can't do both to come to the top. If you want to go to the top, you must select one field, either civil or criminal. That is your choice, and I won't be able to tell which field you must choose. But you must choose one. And then I chose civil only for the reason it's a the civil court is a more comfortable court. Criminal court, that must be I didn't like. Although my senior Mr. Banjapan was such a wonderful gentleman.
He was became the Attorney General later.
No, he did not become the Attorney General, but he was one of the most senior President's Counsel and most respected law, and he had been retained to appear for the Attorney General in some of the cases. So I had to decide, civil work, because that was a very good atmosphere.
Right, okay. So now, this is long years of your experience in the profession, and today you as a President Counsel going to courts with number of juniors, and you are retained by number of instructing attorneys and clients. This is all long, decades long history of your experience. I'm sure there are a number of experience from which at the beginning you learned a point, something for you as a lawyer, and there may be experience from which others can learn, like law students like myself. Would you like to reflect,
of course, yes,
recollect some of those and share?
The beginning of this profession is a difficult profession, very difficult. People think the moment you become a lawyer, money flows, cases flows, not so. It's, I think, my way, one of the profession where the intellectuals start with a very, very low income. Only hard work and experience and your personal qualities will take you to the top of the profession. Very, very hard work. I remember first month, my professional income was ₹30.
That is in the year?
In the year 1974.
74, okay.
And a couple of months, we had to work without income. So it was a difficult process. But it is something that you must not give up. And then in the process, when there are seniors who will guide you, it is easy to come up. They will show where you go wrong. They will show how you must conduct yourself. And when you are with a good senior, you looking at them, you learn. That experience, exposure you will never get by reading even millions of books, which I was privileged. And then also when you conduct yourself, the way you conduct in court, it's also at times very nice to get a good comment from some of the seniors. I remember one occasion when I made some submissions as a junior counsel with about 5 years in practice. After making the submission, I was just coming back from the bar table. Mr. Navaratraja, Queen's counsel, was seated. He said, I said, come here. What's your name? Ikram. I said, I'm Ikram Mohamed. You made very good submissions. Okay, very good submission. You will go very far. All the best. So that encouragement, statement like that are very, very encouraging. You know that you are on the right track.
And especially to hear from such a person.
It's so nice. And then, it's similar, they have seen others when you appear, when you make your submission, when your presentation, the way you counsel him, when you conduct yourself in court. Some of the seniors have always said, Ikram, you are very good, keep it up. Judges are happy. So that is an encouragement. So it's very nice to get such an encouragement from the senior, then you are through. And even now you see some of the seniors, as we, as a junior does well, we always recommend him, commend him, we respect him, we tell you are very good. At times in the opposed to us also, we say he conducts very good. The way he conducts the cases are very good. And you say you have a very, very bright future in the profession. It's our duty as seniors to encourage the juniors and to see that they, after some time, they will become seniors and they will have juniors. So therefore, we must encourage those juniors to come up in the profession, and the profession must continue even after us. So one thing that I learned was, the seniors always, when you did well, they encouraged you, they spoke highly of you, and thereby, in fact, they have invited, in some of the cases, they have invited me to be their juniors. And not that I could have made a big sacrifice or big help, but they felt that he is a boy whom they must also support. He has a future and we must give him a helping hand. So that also happens. Then similarly, as a junior, you have a lot of time to study your work, do your reference. And one of the things that we did, thanks to my senior, was to be seated in court when we are over to see how a junior is conducting a case. Senior is conducting a case. So when senior conducts a case, his approach, the manner in which he conducts the case, the manner in which he addresses the court, the manner in which he cross-examines a person, the manner in which he re-examines a witness, all those are experiences that you can get in court. So we used to sit, even if we didn't have work, we used to sit in court and to see how these cases are conducted, how the judges treat the lawyers, and what annoys the judge, what will make the judges feel pleasant and be nice to you. And those are all matter you can see, provided you are seated in a court. Just watch our senior and how the judge conduct the case, which I think our present juniors don't do very much. Because when we don't have work, we are in court. When we don't have work, we are in the library. We do our research, we do our work. Nowadays, I see the juniors don't do that very much. They don't have that feeling to be seated in court to see a good cross-examination. We have good seniors who do very wonderful cross-examinations. All those things are matters where the junior must feel that they must learn. There are a lot to learn in it. Just because everyone is a lawyer, everyone wears a black coat, it doesn't mean everyone has the same capacity. So that is something that you get by experience, by exposure. At times a judge makes a comment which hurts you. I remember in one case, when in court against Mr. Niman Senanayake, one of the senior lawyers, I referred to something of the judgment of the next court. I said that learned judge has made an order, and it's an intelligent order. He has kept something open for your honor to decide. My comment at intelligent,
the word
intelligent hurt the judge. He thought I was sarcastic. And then he said, he looking at Niman Senanayake, he said, Mr. Senanayake, I am surprised the way the counsel is sarcastic. And I will take this case up, and he put off all the cases. I was fairly a junior. I was trying to say, I'm sorry, but he put off the case, he took my case up. Then I told him, I'm sorry, sir, I did not mean to be sarcastic. Sir, I withdraw my comment unconditionally, but he was very annoyed. Then the senior, Mr. Niman Senanayake, who was against me, told, sir, I know Mr. Mohammed, he is not a person who will ever make a sarcastic comment. And he stood up for me. That was one wonderful quality. Then what happened? In the process, Mr. Niman Senanayake, in leading evidence, he referred the same judgment, and he said, in Sinhala we were leading evidence, "E vinishyakaraya nalutinduwa." Judge once again got hurt and annoyed for the word vinishyakaraya. There was a pin of silence. Mr. Niman Senanayake realized, and he said, "I am sorry, vinishyakaraya tuma," and he went on. So at the adjournment, the judge wanted me to come and see him, and I went to him. He told me, Mr. Mohammed, see the plight, Mr. Senanayake is not, the way he is conducting, very bad for the judges. I said, no, he's an English-educated gentleman. Maybe that he had not realized. And I supported his cause in his in the chambers. So that is how you see judges' mind as to how it works. At times it hurts you, but initially my word hurt him. Then Mr. Niman Senanayake supported me, and then he cleared his mind, and then I was very free thanks to my senior. That senior was supposed to be. So there are things like that. And then also the other thing that we always learned from in the bar, that the rapport between the lawyers must be good.
Among the lawyers.
Among the lawyers. And although I worked with Mr. B.J. Fernando, I think I'm proud to say that whenever any senior came into a court, we were in the habit of offering a seat to the senior. We will never be seated when the senior is standing. But that practice I don't see that our juniors are following now. But they must do that. We must respect our seniors. And when we respect our senior, it is the senior who will respect us. These things are seen by courts at times. Today very often, it's at times very embarrassing. The judge has to say, Junior, Mr. So-and-so, why don't you give the seat to so-and-so who is standing?
That's a very bad situation.
It's, our profession has lots of traditions. So one tradition is to respect the senior, because today junior will be tomorrow's senior. and he at that point of time he has certain respect, and then he can command that. To command, he must give it now itself. Therefore, that is the other thing. When we must have that rapport, good rapport with the colleagues. And when you become a senior, once again you must have a good rapport with the juniors. We also need the juniors in the bar, because we must not forget the fact that juniors are tomorrow's seniors. And very often I have seen our juniors also have a good talent. They study well. At times we, as senior, we are also educated in the process. And whenever junior deserves a comment, a good word, we as seniors must never forget to do that. And when you ask for practice as to how it must be done, I suppose to be a good lawyer, firstly, the bar and the judge must feel that you are a person of integrity. Suppose the main thing for success is not the knowledge of law or any other thing. It is the integrity of the person. Once a judge realizes a lawyer is a person of integrity, he is there to support you. Now, in my own experience, if I were to say, we had judges who are terrors, who have been very problematic judges, who will not. I think there have been certain judges who will not even respect the seniors for various reasons. Not that they themselves are not well. That I suppose, I don't know how to put it, but I would say they were for some reason or other, they were very hasty at times. They didn't have the patience that they should have on the bench for whatever reason. And then I have seen seniors being regarded unreasonably and very at times a hostile attitude. In those circumstances, I as a junior, I have managed to do very well with most of such judges. I remember in one case when I was appearing, a judge was a fairly tough judge. I still remember the name to Mr. Kalvataraji. And one occasion when I asked for a date in a case, other lawyer objected to that date. He said, Mr. Mohammed, you are very nice to me, but he said, Mr. Mohammed, the other lawyer is objecting to that date. So, therefore, why don't we start? I said, we will start the case. And when after framing issues, we had to lead evidence. He was for the plaintiff, I was for the defendant. So, he was appearing for a company or a bank. He had to lead the evidence. So, at that point of time, I want to check whether he has listed any witnesses. Then all of us searched for the document, the list, court, judges, law, and all the lawyers. Then we found that he had not filed a list. Yes. Then I said, I am object to that witness. Then that lawyer was compelled to ask for a date. Then I said, Your Honor indicated at that point when I asked for a date. He is objecting and therefore I can't give unless. Then I said, now I am objecting. I hope the court will do the same thing. Court said, I am doing the same thing, and he dismissed the action.
My goodness.
It was, you see, how, that was a very tough judge, but when he said, I said, same thing to be applied.
Yes.
And on another occasion, I remember, it's the same judge, where some lawyer was supporting an application, and to vacate an ex parte decree. Now, ex parte decree in our law, you have to file a petition affidavit. But then we also had that practice of getting a consent motion signed. And on that consent motion, the court acts as a normal practice. So when some lawyer supported the application before this particular judge, he said, no, you have to file the petition affidavit because that affects the revenue of the state. And he said, no consent motion, he disallowed the application. The very matter was my application. Same thing to vacate where we had filed a consent motion. So I got up and said, Your Honor, there is a motion filed that can be allowed. He looked at it and he said he allowed it. And vacated. That is because they were not that, the judges, they are not that he has been a fraud or he was favoring. It is the approach that you do. when you are good, when the manner in which you present cases, that he or the judge becomes so nice to you, and he is there to look after you. And how do you become nice to a judge? How do you become? How do you attract the judge? The way you talk to the judge, the way you are dressed, the way you appear, the way you pose. All these things matter. That is simply, it's common sense. Suppose someone wants something from you. You will give that person what they want, provided you are happy.
Yeah, happy, exactly.
So that is the appearance that we as lawyers must do before they are judges. After judges are human beings. So do it in that case. There are also certain things. When you must not do certain things which will antagonize a judge. Particularly when you cross-examine an elderly woman. All of us respect the age of a lady. Our mothers are elderly, our sisters are elderly. Therefore, you must not unnecessarily antagonize a lady, because human nature is that. Similarly, we will not tell an elderly person, a young person, So when a person has some disability, we will not look at him and annoy that person because that. So these are other qualities other things that you must know. You must never do something which a normal human being will not like.
Yes. So thank you. In fact, if we continue, there could be a number of other examples that you can share with us. But let me come to the point of your success. Now, sir, you are today is one of the leading counsel in the country, and everyone respects you. And you are a very successful lawyer. What is the secret behind this success? Is it merely because your father was a reputed lawyer in Negombo, you became a good lawyer here, you led the private bar at one occasion, and today you are a leading counsel? I'm sure there are other things than the family background for your success. Would you like to share those things?
Yes, certainly. No, my father was not, he was a respected gentleman in Negombo. He was not a leading counsel or a lawyer in our country. But his mannerism was such from which I learnt a lot to be a good human being. I suppose, when you look back at your history, I realized that there were many factors for success. First thing is the hard work in the profession. Unlike any other profession, every case you have to study the facts. You can't, any other profession won't require that. Here every case is different. Facts must be studied however much you know the law. Law must be applied to the facts, and therefore every case you must be thoroughly prepared. Then no person will be able to tell something to court which is not factually correct. So you must study your brief. Secondly, when you prepare the brief well, the judge before whom you make a representation will know he is a person who comes ready. So he is always with you to help you. Then you attract the judge by doing so. Thirdly, when you study hard and you know, other counsel will know so and so comes ready, and you will not be able to, sidestep some of the matters. So that the first thing is the fact that you must prepare thoroughly. There is no shortcut, there is no subject for that. Secondly, is your conduct in court and outside court. As I said earlier, you must be a good human being first. You must be nice to your clients. Unless you are nice to your clients won't come to you. As a fact, as a practice, I have always learned that client must be respected. They must be treated well. They must be given the hearing, so that because if not for them, however much you are genius, how much you are brilliant, it won't help you. So they must be looked after. Client must be treated with respect. That I do as a rule. And the other thing is, when you go to court, your success depends basically as to how you are treated by your colleagues in the bar. You must be nice to the bar. If the bar is hostile, no lawyer can be a successful lawyer. One of the cardinal principles is that you be nice to your colleagues, nice to your seniors, nice to your juniors, then your success is assured.
So finally, I'm sure now you taught law for, or you said 16 years to the law students. Now you are seeing, though you are not teaching now, you must be seeing how the law students today comparing to your period. Similarly, you must be comparing young lawyers to the time you spent as a young lawyer. What is the difference between these generations, and what is lack, if anything, with the young lawyers and law students, and what is your final advice to the law students and young lawyers?
The main difference that I see is the present day we have some of the young lawyers who are absolutely committed to the cause. The legal profession, they say, is when law becomes your mistress. It must be looked after. It must be cared for. You must be at it. That needs a lot of time. No law. Today the lawyers have various interests. As far as I am concerned, family is also important. If you can't do law full time, the family must be there. So, but I have adapted this for the last 35 years. I have kept 2 days free for my family. That is Wednesdays after coming from courts, I don't work.
I think this is a very good personal management point of view for the majority lawyers in this country. Yes, please proceed.
So Wednesdays I don't work. It's a family day. Then Saturday I have kept the whole of Saturday for the family. Therefore I have 2 days to be with the family. Those 2 days I enjoy my life with the family, and I become a home bird, and that has paid me a lot of dividends. Therefore they will not disturb me during the other days. But on those days, my children will never allow me to work. Even to collect a fee, they don't want me to go to the office room or the chambers. So that I think is very important. Our young lawyers must learn that. You are duty bound to look after your family. Then the other thing I realize with our young lawyers is they have many other matters of interest today. Therefore, they take law as a alternative thing for them. They can't do that. They must pay full-time attention to law and succeed in law. Mr. BJFNM told me you can't do both criminal and civil law. Now here our juniors are doing law, business, various other things, and legal, the law become just another thing for them. They are in their career. So I would advise them to pay more attention to law. And I also would advise them to see how senior lawyers are behaving, how they conduct their cases. When they have time, please, they must sit in courts, they must discuss with their seniors, and they must follow their footsteps. But that is something which you can never learn from books. If they do that, I think they will go a long way. But I also must say that we have youngsters who are very good, very able and very forceful in their presentation, very committed and very knowledgeable. Not that they are not. We have people. But the majority are not that. So I love my legal profession, and I love the legal profession to thrive. Therefore I would like all these young lawyers, whenever they have time, to be in courthouse to see how a judge reacts, how a lawyer reacts, how cases are conducted. It's like, in fact, a small experience, that I enjoy my cross-examination cases. And I do I think to my satisfaction, I do fairly well. In one case, a long time back, where I cross-examined an engineer, telecommunication, and I enjoyed with him, and not without antagonizing him, I was getting everything out, which was against him. And when we adjourned court for lunch, and I had to come back to court at 1:30, this gentleman whom I was cross-examining came just across to me and said, "Mr. Mohammed, you had done a good job." So, in cross-examining also, we must know not to antagonize a person, because human beings must be treated like human beings. And if you are nice to the man, he will not be hostile. A witness is hostile, you find it difficult. If I were to give a word of advice as regards the juniors, all what I would say, they must have a lot of patience. They must be honest in the profession. they must not do anything unbecoming of a lawyer. And they must, one more other thing is, when judgments can go against you, but never talk ill of a judge. It is all wrong. Judgment is, you are not happy with judgment, you must appeal. Therefore, some of the lawyers and some lawyers are in the habit of, talking against the judges. We must not do. If you are not happy, appeal it. Therefore, we as lawyers, a lot of patience must be there. And they must work hard. And they must also at the same time spend some time with the family. Because unless you have a good family background, you have peace at home, no lawyer will be able to concentrate in this profession. And when you become a lawyer, you have a basic knowledge of law. That is sufficient. With the hard work and the fact that you are a good human being and that you are able to recognize what is good and bad in life, I am sure every lawyer can hit the top.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Today you shared with us very valuable thoughts, not only for lawyers, I think, sir, so for any profession, sir. So I thank you for your giving time for this interview, sir, and I wish you all the luck for the rest of your profession.
Thank you. Nice of you. Thank you.